We'll follow that. Conference. It's the honour of a lifetime to be your General Secretary. I want to thank Angela for inspiring us like that and showing us just how to take the fight to the Tories and just why we absolutely must win. It's a real pleasure working with you, Angela, even though you did liken me to Scott Parker, the Fulham manager, not in a good way, on one occasion. Conference, I want to thank the NEC for offering me the job, and Keir Starmer, who's gone, Keir Starmer, I'm sure, for offering me his support and confidence over the last 14 months. Conference, I want your support too. That's why I'll be calling for a card vote on my election as General Secretary. And I ask for your backing. I hadn't met Keir before I started the job. Because of the pandemic, I didn't meet him for 4 months. But the more I get to know him, the more impressed I am. He has the steel to win, the decency to stand up and be counted, and the integrity to carry our values into government. My number one job with you is to make him Prime Minister. Today, Conference, I'd like to talk about how we do this, but first I'd like to tell you a little bit about myself. I'm not a politician, and I don't want to be one. 4 years as a councillor in my 20s gave me huge respect for councillors, but told me that elected office wasn't where I could best make a difference. I'm a lifelong Labour member, A170341, trade unionist, GMB, A188849, and cooperator 114325. Everybody remembers why they joined Labour. What was it for you? For me, Jeremy Corbyn. Well, let me tell you what it was for me. For me, it was seeing my brother Rob, who has a learning disability, being bullied. I wanted to live in a country where everyone is respected without prejudice. That's why I made Labour my family back in 1979. In 2018, Rob proudly stood as the Labour candidate in his local ward, with the support of the brilliant Bromley Labour Party, doing it for himself. Our brotherhood is affirmed by our mutual love of Labour and, sadly for us, Chester Football Club. But Rob's here today. Stand up, Rob. In my first job, which was for Croydon Trades Council, I learnt about organising and solidarity. On a food collection for striking miners, I was arrested and charged with obstruction. No case to answer, and the £400 cost against the police went straight to the Miners' Support Fund. I then became a Labour Party organiser. Ever since then, Conference, I've been accused of belonging to one faction in the Labour Party. Conference, to that I plead guilty. I'm dedicated to the organising faction, the faction that pulls up its sleeves, the faction that fights elections, ward by ward, street by street, voter by voter. Fuelled by the promise of a society without injustice or prejudice. That's who I am, that's what I'm for. And I won't stop fighting every day to get this Tory government out and a Labour government in. But, you know, prejudice is something we always have to be vigilant about. Look at the treatment of Maureen Colquhoun, who died this year, a proud Labour lesbian MP, deselected by her local party in the 1970s because of her sexuality. It was a privilege as General Secretary to be able to send her a card on her 92nd birthday last year. I was told how much joy it gave her and how to know that she was remembered by the party and that she still mattered. We've made progress. We've made progress, but our fight against prejudice isn't yet won. That's why we've moved resolutely to tackle anti-Semitism. We're delivering an action plan to drive it out of our party. I'm working hands-on with the Jewish community to regain their trust. That's why, confidence, with your support, we will have, by December, an independent complaints process for all forms of discrimination. But we can't just deal with symptoms. That's why all party staff, MPs and thousands of members have already taken anti-Semitism training provided by our great affiliate, the Jewish Labour Movement. It's why I've set up a diversity and inclusion board. For the first time ever, we're auditing the diversity of our organisation and acting on it. And I'd like to take a moment to thank our staff. In less than 2 years, we've had a general election, a pandemic, a bumper set of elections in May, and a really tough financial backdrop. Their dedication and hard work hasn't faltered for a second. But conference. The main reason I ask for your support today is so I can support you, Keir and Angela, to get Labour into government. How we win starts from a crucial question. Voters will ask us, what is the difference between the Labour Party and the Conservative Party? Well, thank you for your courtesy. For me, it's this. The Conservative Party was set up by people in Parliament to impose a set of values and views on the people. The Labour Party was set up by the people, by our trade unions, to give the people a voice in Parliament. That's as true today as it was 120 years ago. Indeed, doing things together is what defines us. Without collective action, we can't achieve our core goals: fairness, solidarity, equality of power and opportunity. It's also how we win. The Conservatives will always have money, but Labour has so much more. We are a movement. But in too many places, if we're honest, over many years, our bond with the people has been broken. To win next time, we need to tell our Labour story about the future, as Angela outlined. The first step starts with humility, by listening intently to voters and by drawing on the wisdom that flows from that. I remember canvassing a voter in Crawley in the last election. After 10 minutes of listening to him, he said, "You're not saying much." I said, "No, I want to hear from you." On polling day, I met him again. He gave me the thumbs up. He knew I'd heard and he voted Labour. It sounds simple, and like all good politics, it is. No one understands that better than Kim Leadbeater MP. Kim did so magnificently in Batley and Spen because she's an instinctive community organiser. That meant when the poison was being poured out by Galloway and others, voters knew the truth. That's why I speak regularly with voters, and I expect every member of Labour Party staff to do so too. There's nothing like it. It's like plugging into the mains. That's why we're changing our organisation, turning it inside out, putting voters at the centre of everything we do, with a modern approach to campaigning. investing in our members to have high-quality doorstep and digital conversations with voters, driven by our values but on their terms. I'll close by pledging to you the type of General Secretary I will continue to be. I will not accept prejudice directed at anybody in the party or by anybody in the party. I will not accept abuse directed at anybody in the party or by anybody in the party. And I will certainly not accept another defeat by the Tories. Conference, our party is a truly great thing, needed more now than ever, but it doesn't belong to us. We're passing through. We have the responsibility to look after it, to pass it on to those who come after us, better than we found it. I promise that is what I will do. I won't shy away from tough decisions, and we won't agree about everything, but I will always tell you what I believe, and I will always listen. We have so much work to do, so let's pull up our sleeves and organise, organise, organise. So when the general election comes, we will win, win, win. Conference Chair, please call a card vote and support me as your General Secretary.